Hi everyone. I haven't made a video in a couple of weeks, and that is because the heat index in the last 2 months has been about anywhere from 105 to 115, and so you can only be out here an hour or so at a time. And because it's an out yard, there's no real place, you go sit in the car, you can run the air conditioner. It's ridiculous. Today is, well, yesterday was 113, today is about 113, and it's the humidity. And in the humidity, hive beetle is up, queen laying goes down in the heat, and if, my yards, it's like I live in a jungle, they grow up, and so circulation of air, I try to keep that open. So, what's today's video? Well, I figured I'd talk about some beginner mistakes, at least the top 3, because I get a lot of beginners watching my videos, and I do post to some, what do you call them, Facebook groups, and I see what I think are some of the big mistakes. So, let's get to it. I think the biggest mistake for a beginner, and it's a double-edged sword, you either inspect too much or you don't inspect enough. The reason we give you the every 10 days in season, meaning in the flow, is so that you can catch a swarm cell. Every 10 days is not a lot, and you can make it 14, but if you're in swarm season, it really should be that 10-day window. And a lot of people I see are, like all of us in social media, we're posting what we're doing. That means your inspections are longer, and you're more concerned that your camera is going to catch your work than you are of your work. Your inspections do not need to be very long, because as a beginner, you're just kind of looking to make sure your queen is there or eggs are there. And then, are they bringing in nectar so that the hive can continue to grow? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Everyone's concerned that they have varroa mite. You're not going to get rid of it, so just be aware of it, and you see it, and then close the hive and go look it up. You don't have to take a picture of your queen every time you open up your hive. I'm guilty of it too. But every time you want to photograph your queen, you take a chance that either you're going to squish her, you're going to roll her between frames, she's going to fly away, or she's going to drop off the frame and you're going to step on her. It happens. I've had queens drop, I've had queens fly. It happens. Inspect your hive every 10 days, and then coming fall and winter, obviously if you're in a snow area, you don't inspect at all. Don't open your hives in the winter. There's certain regulation for that, for accepted practice. I used to live in Maine. You can go up, you can put your ear to the hive and you can hear them hum. You can knock on it if they're not. If you can walk out in shirt sleeves in, say, Maine, you can open your hive for a second and take a look. Or you're the type of person that, they can live by themselves, but you put them in man-made equipment and confine them where they can't build out. So if you don't inspect enough, you can get a swarm, or if she starts to dwindle, you'll never know, and you can get wax moth, you can get hive beetle, or whatever the pest of your area is. If you don't inspect enough, you're not looking at your entrance, so you don't know if they're coming and going with pollen, all kinds of things that you can check on. It's a double-edged sword. That even keel is a 10-day window. And then if you have to, as you go, and you get to understand what's going on, you can do 14, maybe a little longer. Here's a beginner mistake, number 2, and I see it a lot. don't rely on Facebook forums. You can get information, you can look around, but so many people, instead of looking in their hive and trying to understand the whole nuance of the hive, they take their picture instead of seeing it, like internalizing it. They take their picture, run back, upload it to Facebook and say, what's happening? This is a rob. So just to give an instance, I did see somebody run back. They Facebook their hive coming and going. And the first person to respond was very sure of themselves, and they said, that's a rob, run out, close it, you're gonna lose your hive. It was clearly a coming and going. If it was anything more than just daily activities, how we understand that the hive is busy in the morning, and then towards the afternoon or later evening, they have their kind of coming home ceremonies. If anything, it was an orientation where the new group goes out for their first flights around the hive. There was no fighting, no anything. And this person that answered that it was a rob was very sure of themselves, to the point of any one of us that tried to calm this new beekeeper down and saying, no, that's just normal activity, called us all kinds of names and said how we were new and we didn't know anything. I have 20 years in this. I learned something every day. But this guy, wow. So you can get really bad advice, and I don't know what his motive was. You know, I don't know where he came from. He didn't say his experience, you know, but Facebook forums, you can get a lot of bad advice when you need to be internalizing, looking at it. Now, if you upload and you're just looking for, hey, I think it's this, and then somebody gives you another, you know, is she honeybound, or, you know, no one can diagnose your hive better than you can. That's for you to do, and you to do as a beginner is to learn how to inspect your hive with confidence. And confidence is not always running back to Instagram or Facebook or wherever and saying, what do I do? What do I do? Take a little initiative. Oh, and that's not to say that you can't watch my YouTubes. I mean, geez, really? There are YouTubers out there that show inspections of hives, and it may look similar, but the diagnosis is up to you. Okay, so I think the third one, it may go together, but beginners, you got into this for honey, and so you're just waiting on that honey. And the thing is that you actually have to be aware of your flows, and especially with this climate change, how we're seeing hotter temperatures, less flowers, or more things blooming all at once, and how we're seeing things bloom all at once or not at all, and then we have a drought and we have too much rain. And these are things we've always had, but they're really, like, I've had this 2-month window of over 100. This is insanity, and they keep telling me it's gonna break, but I don't see it happening. You cannot take honey the first year for sure. Now, you say, oh, well, she was honeybound. Well, then you better get another piece of equipment up there and leave that honey for her. Now, if I can't diagnose everybody's hives, so if she's honeybound, that means you didn't give her enough equipment. So have your equipment ready. You don't have to have 1,000 pieces of equipment if you're just, you know, a couple of hives. You're gonna have equipment sitting on, you know, in the garage at least part of the year, but you don't have to overbuy. So you don't have enough equipment, so that means you're going to take, oh, I'll just take her honey. You can't do that. Because what you thought was surplus, now, you know, something came along, the drought came when you didn't expect it. You've never had a drought in 10 years. and now they're dry. So now you're back to sugar feeding. But your first year hive really needs the nutrition of the honey that they just made. So you have to be aware that the reason we say don't take honey the first year is because that honey is very nutritious for the hive. Can you supplement with sugar? Yes, but I'll put a video here on why I don't really care for sugar feeding. Do I do it? Yes, I do. I have a lot of hives and I share honey first, and then I actually, if I have honey for some reason somewhere I didn't sell for God knows what reason, I bring it back. Do I use sugar? Yes, I use sugar. But do as I say, not as I do on sugar. Not if you're a first year beekeeper. Don't rely on sugar. Rely on honey. That's what the honeybees do. So those are some beginning mistakes I think that are important to consider. Everyone says, did you get onto the Facebook forum? Did you do this? Start relying on yourself, your sight, your senses, your smells. Hive beetle stinks. An overrun hive with wax moth stinks. There's different diseases that smell funny. You need to rely on your sense of smell. Watch the entrances. That will tell you a lot. You watch it in the morning and the afternoon and then in the evening. Each time is a little bit different. Entrances will look different in rainy days, obviously, but as a beginning beekeeper, you need to learn all these things for yourselves. And the best thing I can tell you is start taking notes. And don't think a note is too small. And don't go looking, oh, it's not on my hive list. That doesn't mean anything. If you saw something funny, write it down. I have a hive checklist, but that doesn't mean that your hive doesn't need an extra little checkbox for something. We're all in different areas. We all have different hives, and we need to remember that each hive is like an individual. Care for it like it is. So today I moved some 5-frame nukes into 10-frame equipment, getting ready for hopefully a fall flow, if it happens. And did mowing, cleaning up the yards, because that's what you do at this time of year. But as I said, if you're out in your yards and if you got even half the heat I have, make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you spend time in the shade. Don't overdo it. The bees are not worth you dropping out in the apiary and your family finding you out there. So until next time, peace, bruh.
Legends never break, they just learn to fight. We'll keep climbing up till we touch the sky. Hotter than the sun, we keep burning bright.